I think it's important to let them know what you're passionate about, what your end goal is, but also be real about where you're at right now and let them know the different pathways that you're interested in that, would work quicker, if that makes sense, where, sometimes maybe you're in school to be a product designer or something, and so you're like, I'm stoked, I'm so excited to get into product design, but if that's your only goal and you're not willing to also experience other areas of the business, that might limit you sometimes if it's super competitive. So know your end goal, but also figure out, are there steps in between that I'm willing to do, and talk about those at a career event too, so that they see you as somebody who's willing to grow and with a company.
I always like the question of, what skills do you need for the role? Not because you're going to have all the skills, but if it's a role that you really want and it's a skill you can go learn it. So it's always good to ask kind of what skills they're looking for, whether it's a certain department or certain role or even just the company in general. Also, you should always ask for who you're talking to, their LinkedIn connection, because we talk to so many people throughout the day. It's best if just you take care of that connection and then reach out later.
Ooh, just ask as many questions as you can. Don't worry so much about leading with sometimes students, again, maybe they get really nervous and they feel like they need a flex as well, I've done this, and this. It's like, dude, we all know you're a student, you're looking for experiences. It's all good. The students we like working with the most, or the fresh graduates we like working with the most, are the ones who demonstrate they have a high capacity to learn and they're willing to play where they're needed. So when a student comes to me and asks tons of questions and you can tell they're a sponge ready to learn, that's the type of person I'm going to choose to have on my team every time.
I think the questions or topics that students should talk at career fairs, honestly, just be curious. Whatever question that you might have in an interview, ask them there, because I think it also shows hey, I am interested in this company and the growth of it, or the values, or what's important to employees, or how can you stand out in an interview process, how you can stand out in a role, once you get the position. I think it just varies on what you're interested in and what you're curious about, but I think definitely asking those curiosity questions versus just the generic, so what do you do? Which is fine, that's totally fine. But I think if you could come to hey, I have heard of you, tell me a little more about your experience, tell me about opportunities, I have this experience. And granted, every company's different, and depending on what a company's hiring for, you might not want to waste your time or their time if it's a position that you might not be interested in. But still build that connection. So don't make it seem that you're not interested at all. Still be kind, be interested, but try and don't waste their time if they don't have any positions that you're interested in.